In today's video, we have a great multiplayer game that is getting a free weekend, so you'll have an opportunity to try out that game absolutely free. Speaking of free, we also have free DLC for an excellent PlayStation 4 JRPG, so if you're into that game or you just want to download it and you plan on picking the game up, you can take advantage of that too. There are also some ridiculous PlayStation 4 game deals right now over at GameFly. This is one of the best sales I've seen all year. Yes, GameFly does sell pre-owned games, but their games are always in great condition, and for the value that you're getting out of these deals, it's pretty freaking ridiculous. On top of that, we've got sales updates on Grand Theft Auto 5. That game is obviously selling incredibly well. It's been released on a multitude of different platforms. There are people that have bought that game as many as 3 times, and its sales numbers are showing. We've also got details on Rage 2's open world, and the PlayStation 4 exclusive Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise got a new trailer. More on that at the end of this video. First, Rainbow Six Siege will be available free on the PlayStation 4 this weekend. This will begin on August 16th, and it'll last until August 20th. You'll be able to access the entire game completely free. Just download it off the PlayStation Store, and you'll be able to enjoy that. I highly recommend you to also get some friends to download it, because Rainbow Six Siege is a much better game when you're playing with a couple of buddies, but it's a great multiplayer first-person shooter. It really followed the formula of a lot of Ubisoft games this generation, especially the Ubisoft multiplayer games. You look at titles like For Honor, The Division, even Ghost Recon Wildlands. Those games were not released at a great state, but they just got better and better, and now R6 Siege is considered by many to be the best multiplayer game on the market. You'll be able to decide for yourself, as again, the game will be available free from August 16th to the 20th. Usually whenever they do a free weekend, it's coupled with a deep discount on the title if you want it to own. Hopefully that is the case here as well. Speaking of free, No Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom has gotten a free adventure pack. This was released a couple of days ago, but we have not gotten a chance to mention it. The free adventure pack DLC expands the random dungeon Faraway Forest, and Evan stands up once again to save the kingdom from Zeta and Blackheart. New outfits and items are also included in this adventure pack. The DLC is absolutely free, no reason not to check it out. Obviously, I've said my thoughts on Ni no Kuni 2. I don't think it's quite as good of a game as the first title, but still a very good JRPG. And speaking of Ni no Kuni 2, if you want that game on sale, GameFly has an awesome used game sale right now, and Ni no Kuni 2 is just one of the games on sale that is available for $19.99. That's a great price on Ni no Kuni 2, but that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as great deals. Assassin's Creed Origins is $19.99. That game does not go cheaper than $30, so to get it used, $10 off, I would say that's a very good deal, and a very palatable price point on that. Call of Duty World War II is down to $19.99. Right now, the hype is surrounding Black Ops 4. I expect the value of World War II to keep on dropping, but still $19.99 for that game is really good. How about this? Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus. I think that game is always an incredible deal when it's on sale for $25 or $30. Well, right now, a used copy is $12.99. That is a ridiculous deal for Wolfenstein 2. Awesome deal, and a great single-player first-person shooter. Kingdom Come Deliverance is only $19.99. That's a pretty good RPG as well. Had some technical issues on PS4, but considering that's a pretty recent game, it only released around 6 months ago, I would say that's a very good pickup as well. There are a bunch of other deals available, so I'll leave a link to the entire catalog in the description box below, but regardless, just those deals I mentioned are very, very good, and you should definitely take advantage of those. Again, those are some of the best deals I've seen all year. Moving on from that, it's no secret that Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the most commercially successful games of all time, and it is approaching 100 million units sold. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick spoke and said, quote, "Fiscal 2019 is off to a solid start with first quarter operating results that exceeded our expectations. This performance was driven by better than expected recurrent consumer spending on Grand Theft Auto Online and NBA 2K18, as well as robust ongoing demand for Grand Theft Auto 5, which is now approaching 100 million units sold to date. Accordingly, we are increasing our operating outlook for fiscal year 2019. That is so crazy to me. Grand Theft Auto 5 was released all the way back in 2013, and Rockstar has really made a platform where they can get recurrent consumer spending. They can get people to drop $60 on this game multiple times, and that's really what I think they're doing with Red Dead Redemption 2 as far as no PC release. They're gonna release it first on PS4 and Xbox One. I can also see RDR2 be a launch title for the PS5 and the next Xbox. Hey, better visuals, 4K, maybe 60 FPS. and then you could do a PC release after that. Rockstar is very smart in thinking about these things. While they invest so much money in creating these massive games, they're also masters at absolutely maximizing the returns on these games. Even though they invested so much money into GTA 5, this is one of the most successful games of all time. I don't think RDR2 is gonna hit quite the levels of GTA 5, but I do think it's going to be a very successful game in its own right, and I expect Rockstar to know how to maximize the profits of that game as well, because no doubt they are investing a lot into that game as well. We've talked about games being very successful at just 1 million sold. 5 million sold is incredible, and then if you get to that 10 million mark, well, then you really know you've got a killer brand to work with. Grand Theft Auto 5 is approaching 100 million. Just wrap your head around that for a second. It's absolutely insane, but Take-Two and Rockstar are a master of promoting these games, and good for them. It's great that gaming has titles like GTA 5 that can generate so much money and so much gaming interest. So that game is doing well. Let's move on from that, and let's talk about Rage 2. We've been getting a lot of information about Bethesda titles out of QuakeCon, and now we have some information about Rage 2. Director Tim Willits told VG247, "There are some things you want to do, but we also want you to explore, talk to folks, play at your own pace. We're not trying to do that sector-based open-world game." So that's great to hear as well. The game will be available to you entirely right from the get-go. It's not like I hate anything about that sector-based open-world game. I think it works fine if you want to open up that open world gradually, and at some point you do have to give all freedom to the player. Giving that freedom right off the bat can be a good thing and a bad thing. At one hand, it gives you a lot of exploration, it gives you a lot of content to tackle right away. However, in the same token, it does make storytelling a little bit more disconnected because you do have this entire world available to you at the same time, so the flow of the game can get lost in translation. That's actually a big part and an issue with open world games. It's how do you actually keep that narrative intact, and we've seen a lot of games fumble with that. Now, I don't know how big of an element the narrative is in Rage 2. This game looks to be a gameplay first title, considering of course Avalanche is working on the game and its software, but hopefully there's a decent narrative in here as well. But at the very least, I'm looking for a very fun open world to explore, and you're gonna get that right from the get-go with Rage 2.
Return, a fan favorite, the wing stick, which has some new tricks in the game that we'll show off for you in a bit. With the Authority mutants out of the way, let's talk with Dr. Kvassier.
Eco 15. It was never deployed and remains in orbit around the Earth. I simply need you to travel to the Eden Space Center and call it down from orbit. Yes, I forgot to say, it might be overrun by bandits. The Goon Squad, to be precise.
The Goon Squad is just one of several factions you'll encounter in Rage 2. Hyper-violent and completely lawless.
And lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the PlayStation 4 exclusive Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. Like I said in a previous video, this is the game that I never knew I wanted, a Fist of the North Star game in the vein of Yakuza. That sounds absolutely awesome, and we got a new trailer for the game. It's a combat trailer, and it's a super slick game. I can see some people thinking that the visuals are a little bit bland, but I love the art style. I think it's got that really good anime look, but it doesn't look all too Japanese, where I don't think people are going to be turned off if you're not super into Japanese style games. I think this is a game that could be very accessible to a Western gamer if you're just open-minded to a very zany experience. I really think you're gonna get that out of Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. This game's release isn't all too far off. It's coming on October 2nd. Yes, it is surrounded by a bunch of big games, but look for this one to be one of the more surprising games of this fall, and I could see it turn out very well. Again, it's done by some people that have worked on Yakuza, and given that fact, I could see Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise turning out very, very well. It is a game that's going to be available with dual audio, so if you are a fan of the Japanese voiceovers, you are going to have that option available to you, so that's great. But at the same time, because it has English voiceovers as well, that's going to make it more accessible to Western gamers, so good all around, giving options to the gamer. That's what I always like to see. That's going to conclude this video, guys. Like I said, Rainbow Six Siege is going to be free for the weekend. No Kuni 2 has some free DLC right now. Take advantage of that. And definitely do take advantage of the GameFly used game sale right now. There are some incredible deals. Ni no Kuni 2 for $20. Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus for $13. That is so insane. Assassin's Creed Origins, you can finally pay a little bit less than $30. $20 for a pre-owned copy is not bad. Kingdom Come Deliverance, $20 flat. Given the fact that that game is just 6 months old and has held up in value quite a bit, I see people buying that game for like $40 at Best Buy. Well, you're getting it for $20 used. That's a pretty significant savings, so I would definitely take advantage of that. Call of Duty World War II is $20. I see Shadow of the Colossus for $18. So some great deals all around for you to take advantage of. Grand Theft Auto 5 5 is approaching 100 million copies sold. I'm really curious to see how Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to do. I imagine it'll do very, very well. It could be the best-selling game of the year. Is it going to do GTA 5 well? Well, that's a question that is still up in the air. Rage 2's open world will be fully explorable from the get-go. That's pretty cool. And Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise has gotten a brand new trailer, and digital pre-orders are available right now, so you can have a look at that as well. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.